Okay, so today we're going to do a clutch flush on our 1990 Toyota 4Runner. Underneath the hood here you can see the clutch fluid reservoir here, and if I pop the cap off you can see the fluid in there is pretty dark. This is a float here, but you can see right in there the fluid's pretty murky and gross. Okay, so things you're going to need for this job is a 10mm crescent wrench for your bleeder screw. This is a makeshift home bleeder kit that I made. Just a piece of tubing that goes over the screw. I'll show you how to use that afterward. And then .3 brake fluid. And as usual, always have some paper towel on handy because it's probably going to get messy. So underneath here, this is our transmission. This is the front drive shaft, just to give you a reference of where we are. And this right here is the bleeder screw for the clutch system. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna drain or try and pump out as much fluid out of the reservoir using, like, you could use a turkey baster, or you could use, I'm just gonna use a little plastic pump set that I got cheap at Canadian Tire. Just to bring the level down and get as much of the dirty fluid out as possible. After that I'm gonna put in some fresh fluid, and then we'll start the bleeding process to get the rest of the fluid out of the system. So I've got my little pump set up here.
Didn't even go all the way through the tube. Pull it up and put it in the can. Nice.
So as you can see, we got a bunch of the fluid out there, and there's a bunch of crap sitting on the outside of the reservoir, or sorry, on the inside of the reservoir. So I'm going to take my paper towel, try and clean it out as best I can without getting any on the paint. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is take our .3 brake fluid, and I'm gonna top up this reservoir with the fresh fluid, put the lid and cap back on, and then we'll start the flushing process. So now I'm gonna take my float, pop it back in, put the lid back on, and now we'll start the sequence. So right here I have my bleeder set up here. I've got a little bit of .3 in the bottom that just covers the bottom of the tube that goes through, and then the tube runs up here going on the bleeder screw. That bleeder screw is a 10mm. So what's gonna happen now is Tyler's gonna hop in the driver's seat, depress the clutch pedal. I'm gonna have my 10mm crescent wrench on standby on the screw. When he presses on it, I'm gonna loosen off the nut, let some fluid come out, then I'm gonna tighten back up the nut, and Tyler's gonna slowly let off the pedal. We're gonna repeat that a few times, and then go and check on the reservoir and top it up as we see fit until all of the dark fluid has come out, and then we can keep topping it up with fresh fluid, and then eventually all of it will be fresh fluid. Press on the pedal. Open up the bleeder screw. Close the bleeder screw. Now release the pedal.
Good.
Press the pedal.
Press.
Bleeder screw is now closed. Let off the pedal. Okay, so right here we're periodically checking the fluid, and it's slowly going down. So we're going to keep repeating this process until the fluid starts running clear. Okay, press.
Press.
Closed.
Off.
Press.
Press.
Closed. So we've now noticed in the hose running off of the bleeder that the fluid is now running clear. So I'm gonna close off the bleeder screw, not too tight, because you're gonna have to eventually do this again, but just put a little bit of pressure on the bleeder screw. She's now closed. And you can see down here, that's pretty dirty, the stuff settling at the bottom there. This stuff on top is what was already in there to prime the bleeder system ahead of time. But this is the crap that's kind of coming out of the system here. Okay, so we've topped her up to just under the max line there. And now we take our float, plop her back in there. And you can see the fluid is now a little more clean. There's probably still always going to be a little bit of debris in there, but at least it's cleaner than we started with. Then throw our cap back on. Okay, so that there is how you flush your clutch system on your 1990 Toyota 4Runner, or any second gen for that matter. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Did you top up your headlight fluid?